everyone.
Well,
Hey.
hey, it's been a while.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
Darnell,
And I'm Angela.
and this is, of course,
Garrison House.
Yes,
Yes.
we've been well, she's been doing prayer,
Back
so
back and live in living color.
yes, back live. Let me tilt this camera.
Yes,
we
thank
go.
you. We cut off our heads.
Yeah, it's been a while.
We are so glad to have you guys be with us on this live broadcast.
Yeah, we missed y'all.
Yes.
I mean, did y'all miss us?
Yes, I know,
No,
right?
we were on. We were still on, but we were on Kashmir. As I
Right.
said, she was doing Operation Prayer Guard, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. So, but first, we want you all to go on ahead, and if you want to write us, our address is Garrison House Podcast, P.O. Box 1827, Garden City, Michigan 48136. If you wish to leave a tip, you can go to garrisonhousepodcast.com. Somebody's got a cough trying to come. And then you can always go there and follow all of our socials, our platforms, and everything else. And what else you got to say as I take a...
Not much after that, but yes, we just appreciate it and we just enjoy. I hope you have been tuning in. We had shows on our CashmereTV.com. We had shows there. And so now my husband, we had so much things going on. So we were like, you know what? I guess we're going to have to go live today. Here we are live and we're just glad. And actually, I'm glad we come live, honey. That way we can communicate with everyone.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we haven't been live every week on Mondays from 7 to 8 on the prayer guard.
Yes.
And Fridays from 7 to 8 on the prayer guard. Again, we'll talk about that a little bit later. One of the things I'm happy about is just basically it's the first day of meteorological summer. If you watch the weather channels or anything, they say it's meteorological summer. Had a great Memorial Day week. It was a short work week. Didn't eat too much, which is a great thing.
Right.
It was just one of those things where it was really a really good week. And then we just had a great time.
Yeah, I mean, it was the 1st of June. So I was like, honey, we're going to 1st of June. And we actually going live on the 1st of June.
Yes. And then her birthday passed.
Yes, it was my birthday. Hey.
Back in May. It's been a lot of birthdays. Her mother's birthday.
May 20th.
On the 20th. I forgot to tell my brother happy birthday. So I'm going to tell him now. His was the that Friday. It's been a wonderful month of May. It's June now. It's birthday month in my family. It's like it's a couple birthdays that kick off, and it's me, my aunt, my brothers. It's a full month of birthdays for us in our family. All right, so we're gonna go into my. I have to do my read, and it's because we have a sponsor. Basically, they're my trainers, and really want to talk about them.
Okay.
And we're going to make sure that graphic is
right. Up. The weight loss journey.
Yes, my weight loss journey. I am down a lot.
Yes, since
I had to get new clothes. Excuse the shirt; it's kind of drooping in areas, but.
Well, how long has it been?
Since September. Over.
And how much did you lose so far? At least
50 pounds.
I think it's a little bit more than that.
It's a little more. The doctor didn't think, honestly, I was going to hit where he wanted me. He wanted me down to 320, and I am now. Last time I checked, I'm like 13, maybe less than that now, pounds away. I am getting there, and it's been a journey. It's been a fun journey, just getting basically getting health in order and getting it together, as they say. You're just trying to get yourself together and move forward. Now, let me find out. It's been a while. I should have practiced because we've been away for so long. I have to figure out where this button is. Oh, here it is. So let's do this read here. Being fit is more than what we see on the outside. As you can see, you just heard I've lost quite a bit of weight. If you scan that barcode right there, that is to the group that trains me, AM Total Being Fitness. And let me tell you this: they use medical grade testing and patent pending process to measure your real progress. That means they do DEXA scan, VO2 max, and that is a fun thing. You wear this mask on your face, and we won't talk about that. Metabolic weight, all backed by science, not guesswork. They don't guess. They also have it's basically that about losing weight. It's about total wellness, physical, emotional, even spiritual. Yes, spiritual. We sometimes get into spiritual conversations there. I've gotten healthier. I feel better, and I'm seeing, and my wife is seeing real results, and that just on the scale. So I want you all to join me and others on this journey. And there's some great people there. You go there. Contact them and they work with you. It's amtbfit.com. So scan the QR code and mention Garrison House Podcast for special offers. And let me tell you, you will not be unsatisfied. They have a nice milk shakes there that I get a protein shake about once a week, sometimes twice. And I do an off the menu shake. It's really good. And I enjoy it. And if I have a taste for a certain one, and it's really good because after I finish working out, I'm hungry. And I do eat before I go. So I'll get the shake afterwards. So I'm not stopping at McDonald's. Truth here. I've done that a couple times. And picking up a chicken nugget. I'm not going there buying a huge sandwich. So it's been great. Just join me. Just come on over there, scan that QR, reach out to them again. That's AM as in Mary, T as in Tom, B as in boy, F as in Frank, I as in Isaac, T as in Tom.com. That's amtbfit.com. So, all right. So
since we are on this weight loss thing, I was just letting you guys know that there, if you ever heard of the Ozempics, and then there's the one that's coming out, it's called Mounjaro. However, there are a lot of talk about the costing, and insurance companies are not paying for Ozempic if you don't have type 2 diabetes. Now, you have to have type 2 diabetes in order to get Ozempic and Mounjaro. However, there are weight loss medications that have the same active ingredient, such as Wegovy and Rebellious, which is in a tablet form. And then also there's Zepbound. And so, but however, some companies, some insurances do not cover weight loss medications. My insurance is one of them. But however, there are some programs that do, that offer something like the manufacturer of, what is that called? Manufacturer Eli Lilly. They manufacture Zepbound, and they have a program. Now, of course, the medication is expensive. Okay, I will give that to you. The medication is expensive, but however, if do I have my share screen? Okay, can you share that screen for me, baby?
Sure.
It costs, if you out of pocket, Zepbound can cost up to almost $1,500-$1,600. However, Eli Lilly does have a program. As now, if you're extreme obesity, sometimes you need to click in some money here. And if this is the journey that you're on, and faith will bring it to you, and God will actually have that money available for you, because as I'm saying, his journey was not, it's not free. Okay. And so, and God be the glory that we are able to help him through this journey, because he was having knee issues, back issues. He was having blood pressure issues. And so now, because of his drop in weight loss, now he's becoming much more healthier in the long run, and longer life. So sometimes you have to kick in just a little bit. So if your insurance does not pay for weight loss medications, but yet you still don't have type 2 diabetes, this is a program that Eli Lilly, who is the maker of Zepbound, has, and this is what they're calling it. The first price, lower dosing. Your lower dosing, you can lose almost 10, 15 pounds alone just on the one shot of the lower dosing. And then as you wake and you go up to that, so now it's $349 a month. Granted, that's a lot of money, but however, what is more important, your health or just like holding on to that money? Because money is not going to go to the grave with you.
Right. So I can tell you right now, you're going to either pay $349 for that, or you're going to pay some for some other program.
Right.
Believe me.
Right.
You either can get, now because you get that, you still got to work.
Right. You still have to do your exercises. So, we got other fitness programs out there that charge what, $10, $15.
No trainer, though.
Right. You don't have no trainer, but however, a month. So that's cheaper, but you still have to do exercise and things like that. And then you go up to the higher dosing to $500 a month. And then as it goes there, they do have it. So I found this, and again, normally if you're paying out of pocket, if you're not going to Eli Lilly directly, it's going to cost up to $1,500-$1,600 through retail pharmacy. So just a thing, and it is. So just like that is the thing that you can work with.
Yeah, looking at that price, and then here's another thing they put on the bottom. So it's what that dosage is that, but the regular price is right here. $5.99.
That's the regular price for the program.
Price for the program.
But I'm talking about if you talk about retail. If you go to if your doctor sends you a prescription and you take it to the pharmacy, you're talking about at least $1,300-$1,400 a month. So it's good to try to look into it. I'm not endorsing it because I don't know this program. I'm just saying that this is an option if you choose. Just do your own research.
Right.
Okay?
And we're not endorsed or paid. They do not pay us. If they did, well,
right.
We are available. But anyway.
Right. Just to let you guys know, I had my journey of type 2 diabetes, and I am on Mounjaro, which is for type 2 diabetes. And yes, I have lost about 50 plus also. And my A1C has dropped about 4 points almost. So yeah, so I'm under it, and I'm still working out. I'm still trying to make sure I'm within a good level where I can just stop taking everything.
Yeah, that's where I'm looking to do it. And also we keep moving. She went on vacation for 1 week, and little boy, I got a little lazy. I'm working. However, I didn't do what I usually do. I usually get out, move around on certain days. I'm moving all 5 days. I'm doing some kind of moving. All I did is went to my workout. Actually, I went to one workout session because I canceled the other because something came up. And I'm now getting my body back in motion, and I'm feeling better. And so one of the things that is important to always stay moving. So if you have a job where you're sitting down all the time, you don't want to have a sit down job. That's not healthy for us at all.
Right. I mean, I do. I sit down and I work from home.
I do too.
So yeah, it's like for me, it's like you get complacent. So I have to find myself having to go out and move around much more.
Yeah, it's been this journey has been great, and we're both doing better. I saw a picture of both of us, like, wow, we really come down.
Yeah, we're gonna do it before and after by September. He'll be 1 year in, and that's when I want to be. Losing the remaining of it. So by September.
And I'm going to shock my doctor at the next appointment because he's going to say, you actually did it. I'll say, yeah, but I'm not done. You have me at this one mark, but I need to get down. I want to get a little bit below 300. That's where I want to be.
All right. And it's segueing into
the Prayer Guard.
Did you spell it right?
I spelled it right.
Okay.
The other thing is we'll leave that one alone. But
okay.
But anyway, the Prayer Guard, as you can see, it is going to start back on Mondays.
Yes. So we have been doing a 24 hours for the last 50 days on Zoom, nonstop. We never closed the Zoom. You could have jumped in at any time, and you would have been able to get a prayer and a teaching through the Prayer Guard. And so we went for 30 days. Then God told our pastor to go another 10, which is 40 days. Then by the 40th day, he said, you know what? We have to push it and go into 50. 50 was Jubilee. 50 was also a sacrifice. But we all pushed it through, and we did it. And so now, so to keep it going, we are now doing 24 hours on Monday. So starting 6 p.m. Monday to 6 p.m. Tuesday. So that's where every Monday to 24 hours every Monday. So not every day, but every Monday. So starting tomorrow, we are going back into the 24-hour Prayer Guard on Mondays only.
And you can catch us there at 7 p.m. on some. We're not sure. We don't know about the rotation. But yeah, we're in the rotation. Our pastor called me out, and I've been participating.
Yes.
And it's been we had some pretty good topics. We've had find some of those topics. We did some nice topics.
I think we kind of stayed on to the same. We almost had like a series thing going where we had God's plan versus our plan.
Yeah, God's plan versus our plan.
So we had that. We had the microwave blessing. Yep. We had what else do we have, babe?
That was pretty much it. I think we're the only ones who were able to. Except I didn't record what was supposed to be on our 40th day, and I was like, "Yeah, we're gonna go 50." And I said, actually, technically, we were gonna go longer than 50. And what happened? We're going longer than 50. It's just not going consistent, and it's not going to consecutive days, which is great. However, it was a great experience. A lot of people are surprised by this one right here, by her, and I'm like, y'all didn't know she can preach. Neither did I. This woman can preach. I mean, she can teach and preach. I was like, whoa, where did that come from?
I don't know about teaching.
She can minister.
I see people who have been doing. I'm like, wow, I'm like, they can go through the scriptures. They can articulate the scriptures. They can articulate their thoughts and patterns. I'm like, that's not me. I can't do that, Lord. But God said, do you. Mm-hmm. This is what I gave you. So that's one of the things. So and that would actually shied me away from doing it. But I was like, anything I could do, I could pray. That's one thing I could say. I could pray. And so, because I was doing it by myself again. That's what we're saying. And it was on Mondays and Fridays. And then, of course, Apostle was like, Darnell, you need to do it too. So now he's been joining me on Mondays and Fridays. Yeah. But then when we went an extra 10 days to the 40. I did a Sunday, but I did it by myself on Sunday.
I'm preparing for the weekday, but I'm also listening to her. So I am on. I'm just doing other work, getting some other things ready because I have time constraints on some things, which I can get done. However, I just felt it's better to let her start the first day and do her. And man, she
right.
Actually, so on the 50th day, the 49th day, I piggybacked on her, what she did. And I just sat here looking like, wow, I don't think did she start up? I was like, well, I'm just going to sit here and,
sometimes I got to get it going.
I'm like, I'm just going to sit here and let me start arranging the desk.
I mean, I think that Sunday I was so upset that our internet went out. I'm trying to go live and was coming in and out. And the distraction was so bad that I would have gone I would have gone cellular. But it didn't go on me because it was like every time I went to try to do something it was something jumped in and started to distract me. Yeah. Something else jumped in, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!"
A
phone call came in while I was trying to go on my phone,
and our internet.
And then I tried that threw me off. And so, all in all, it was the internet issue, and I would have gone cellular. So finally, it was like, you know what? By the time the prayer guard was over with, I mean, I was going in, I was decreeing and declaring, I was worshiping because it was the 49th day until we went to the 48th day.
No, hers was the 49th because we started at 6, so technically it was the 49th, and we did the beginning of the 50th day.
Right, and so, so when that time came back on Monday, I was like, okay, you know what? I ain't letting another enemy stop me, so I went in ahead and jumped in and finished that out. What was supposed to be on for that
we
Sunday.
Were on this side. Now the difference is over here we don't have Wi-Fi. For those who, once we ever start the podcast, our streaming podcast, we'll explain why you should never use Wi-Fi, even unfortunately for Zoom, so I'm going to do some setups here where the same cabling that we have here can go into her. She can have the same cable abilities. So we no longer have to depend on wireless because wireless is not dependable. I know some people say, I don't like the wires. Wireless, again, is very unstable. But we'll say that for the streaming maniacs when we get back in. I can just tell you that from experience because that same night, we started working on storyboarding our next movie. And so we were getting excited and everything was going, I was hoping to have the whole movie storyboarded by Monday, but me and ChatGPT started fighting, so I'm slightly behind. But we're getting that together. So under Prayer Guard, I had a lot of new ideas flowed into me. I mean, I had ideas, things. We're operating off of stuff that I never envisioned creating. Software I've created that help make how we operate everything in this house, internet wise, for the TV stations I do work for, getting stuff put where it needs to be. And then it was like I heard heavily to start working on this other movie. It's like we had ChatGPT and I've been experimenting with stuff. I said, let me do a storyboard. And wow, one day we'll share, maybe I could share one of the pictures from the storyboard, because this came through Prayer Guard. One of the things, I'll share one of them because it doesn't tell the name. We're not going to tell the name of the movie. This is these are not the official storyboards, because me and ChatGPT had a whole bunch of fights and I didn't like, but this is just these are a couple of the storyboards that ChatGPT generated for our movie. Again, these aren't, it was going all over the place. And, but you can see that's the opening sequence of our next movie. And, so we are storyboarding, getting it together, and it's sort of encouraging her, I believe, because just to start seeing that, right, it just tells you, wow, we're getting ready to film our next movie. Mm-hmm. And then so I have to do my due diligence this summer to get it ready to go into production in 2026. And so there's certain things that people who want to give you the lettuce need, and this is part of the lettuce requirements. But anyway, Prayer Guard is back. Yes. I'm excited for it. I think her growth, like I said, a lot of people are surprised by her growth, how well she speaks, how well she does. I think people were surprised because they didn't know. They were surprised they see us. One of the compliments our auntie gave us, who's the chief intercessor for the ministry, she said, y'all are doing good. And a lot of people like our style because we are kind of we are podcasters. But one of the things she keeps saying, remember, is ministry, not the podcast. I was like, well, I'm being me.
Right. So, that's what I always got to tell them, like, honey, we still got to minister to the people, not actually doing a podcast where we actually just talking points. We have to minister and making sure that the people are receiving it. Right. So we have to fill the room.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the comments because here on the studio side, we see everything, all the comments, we see all the reactions. Mm-hmm. And the reactions have been very positive from people about how they like how we present. Everyone's come up to us, we love how you present, because it's different. And we are different. Like she said, we're not the turn to this scripture, this chapter, scripture and verse kind of people. We know where it's at. However, that's not how we operate. So we'll find something, we'll come up with a topic, like our plan versus God's plan was something I was going to post on Facebook as an encouraging word, because a lot of people operate in their own plans, but they don't understand. So in this Prayer Guard, I got some things I need to we're going to put in on the altar ourselves, because we got a letter that we got to deal with. I'm going to put that on the altar and let God deal with it, because I'm not even stressed out. I used to get stressed out when I get that kind of stuff. But after the Prayer Guard, I'm like, you know what?
I didn't even think about it, honey.
Me either. I'm like, whatever.
Because I remember we got that invoice for that car insurance. We were fussing like
I blew up.
But I didn't think about it. I'm like, okay.
Okay, well,
it's
whatever.
like, okay, Lord.
It's like, whatever.
But also, you had a referral,
I got a call to register my business to grow it. And I'm like, okay, Lord, I know I need to go take care of some stuff because of COVID. We had some paperwork lagging. And so now I got to go spend buku bucks and fines and penalties. But I'm going to pray to God that it's not going to be that. So I'm not going to put that out there. I'm going to believe God that I'm going to go up there and say, oh, that was during COVID. Okay, you know what? Go ahead, just pay us for the and you'll be all set. So I'm going to stand on the word and say, okay, Lord, what you got? So we're going to go from there. So yeah, we got to go to our favorite topic because we sort of ran long on the other. So we're going to jump to our next topic. And this is one that has gotten me hot because politicians are politicking. Both sides are politicking on this, and they're gaslighting you. I mean, the truth, they're not telling you the whole truth. Yeah, they can get in front of the cameras because they know that the majority of the public is not going to do their homework. PBMs, pharmacy benefit managers,
Right.
they are not the evil person that they're telling you they are. And you got that description what they do ready?
Yeah, so this is just an overall Google search on PBMs. In the United States, PBM stands for Pharmacy Benefit Manager. It refers to a company that manages prescription drug benefits for various entities, such as health insurance plans, large employers, and government programs.
Yeah.
PBMs act as an intermediaries negotiating with drug manufacturers and pharmacies to determine costs, accesses to medications, and formulary list. So yes, that's what a PBM is. They're just a middleman who negotiates drug pricing for your manufacturing, pharmacies, and health insurance policies. And sometimes people were saying, well, why can't I get this medication? Well,
Because the
because
government tells you can't have it.
right. There's a formulary
that's right.
list
The
that they
government
have to
follows
go by. And some insurance companies, and then there's also your insurance plan who may not want to cover this. As I was going back and saying, weight loss medications. Some insurance plans do not cover weight loss medications. And then you had fertility drugs. Some insurance companies don't cover those.
Right.
Any stuff like that, stuff that deals with, even dealing with something with cosmetics, they won't cover that.
Nope.
I was on social and they were talking about cancer medications. Insurance companies do cover cancer medications. However, you do not have to do a prior authorization if you're especially going into some cancer drug that it may not be used for the condition. So some of them do ask for that. However, when it comes to first line treatment, where you have the three cocktail, when you're talking about the chemotherapy, that is not under prescription coverage. That is under medical. Okay, so you make sure you understand the difference. Also, you're talking about cost. You're talking about there is a financial representative in the hospitals that help with costs. When you're talking about, especially if your insurance is crappy, especially if your insurance is not the best, and you have a $10,000 deductible. Yeah, well, that has nothing to do with the insurance company. Let's talk about care. But anyway,
Care Act,
well,
I mean.
you know what it is that it's just in case something happens, insurance or catastrophe insurance, catastrophic insurance. That's pretty much what it is. Because most times, like for us, we're not going to be on that type of high deductible insurance plan. People who are younger age, like if my daughter wanted insurance, then yeah, she will probably be on those because she doesn't have any serious health conditions that will cause her to want to pay a max deductible of $10,000. But however, so PBMs, they handle insurance, prescription coverage only. It has nothing to do with your medical procedures or anything like that. They only handle prescription coverages only. And they only handle it if your insurance, they get a plan. They tell you this is how much we will cover your insurance of your people, okay? And this is how much it's going to cost you, and this is how much it's going to cost your employers. Employees, excuse me. So, and that's how it is. I've read people are saying that one person said that their health insurance is crappy, but the other one is better, or they have the same thing. It's just the insurance company.
It's a plan you purchase.
It's a plan that you're on.
Because I remember going back when we were entering the workforce, our parents, grandparents, especially my grandparents, say it's not about the money; it's about the benefits.
Right.
That's why you got a job. And I can remember the best benefit job I had that I think the best one I can say was Target. Target
that was over, how long ago?
30 years ago.
So yeah, insurance was better.
It was way better. It covered so much.
Right. I mean, you're talking about $5 copays. Now you're talking about $20 copays. And it's like that because insurance stuff started going higher and higher. Inflation started going higher and higher. So manufacturing these drugs kept going higher and higher. So that, yeah.
Let's address the elephant in the room. The reason costs went up is because the age of the people went up. Therefore, insurance companies had to pay out more to cover the aging population. Therefore, they're going to pass it on to everyone else. It had nothing, because you figure when we started working, our parents were in their early 50s. They weren't really at that age. Our grandparents, if grandparents weren't living that long at that point. The average grandma in them was probably gone by the time you got 20. So but you still had an aging population. You had the greatest generation. They were still living, but you had about 1 million, 2 million people back when we started working, maybe 3 or 4 million who were over 70 going into their 80s still living. So they had additional costs, additional things. My grandma was having knee surgeries and a lot of that stuff was covered. So who covered it? Well, it got passed on to the people. They were on the federal system. They still had to pass that cost on to everyone else. So everything is passed down. So and then the next thing that happened is tort. You want to know why your hospital bill is only because tort. Some tort means they sued. If you notice, you see a lot of lawyer signs. Well, you've been injured, cause such and such number. That lawsuit goes to the hospital, and they're going to and the doctor has to carry their own liability insurance, and they pass that cost to you. So everything was during the early 90s. Everybody's suing everybody.
Right.
People were getting, the scammers were out, swooping, hit whatever that was.
Right.
And so we had a lot of people who scammed the insurance system, which caused the price to go up. Because when she started her first car, I think we paid $90 a month for car insurance.
Yeah.
I mean, we're paying almost 11 times, almost 12 times that now. And that's for 3, but still, it's because of the cost gets passed on. All these tort laws, everything gets passed on to the consumer. So the reason for high prices is that. You want to roll those clips, those politicians, so I can fuss at that for us?
Okay, but there's 2 reasons to why insurance was going up. One was when COVID hit. People were not using it. But once COVID stopped, then people started going back to the doctor's offices. So then that's when they're like, whoa, wait a minute. So they're paying. So insurance companies do not want to pay. Okay. But if they're using it, they're going to have to pay. So, and another one was when Obamacare or Affordable Care Act went live, a lot of people were using the insurance because they bought it and they wanted to use it to see what it was about. And then once they used it, they were dropping it. So that was one of the things. And people were getting all they needed to get, and then they were dropping it. So that's kind of how reason why a lot of stuff started going up, and a lot of insurance companies stopped covering the Affordable Care Act.
And another thing is they allowed your children to be on it until 26. Back when we were coming up,
right?
You were kicked off at 18.
And then
now we're paying for that.
Plus with that you had to cover. It has to be covered for everything. You had to be covered for everything, including if you're a man, you still have to be covered for fertility. Right, you had to have that rider. Which one do you want to listen to first?
Let's do
just a little bit of this one.
Let's do a little bit of that one. Here we go.
Access to a life-saving drug.
Not a good outcome.
Be more specific for me.
If it's a life-threatening situation and they're not getting access to that medication, then the life is at danger.
And you know situations, right?
I do know situations.
Where contributing to the death of an American was their inability to access, over time, the life-saving drugs that they need.
Or because of the process of being put into place, such as prior authorizations that wasn't done timely and the person stroked and died, yes.
So why aren't we calling this what it is? My friends across the aisle and others have called this a scam. Multi-level marketing is a scam. Internet people that prey on senior citizens, that's scammers.
Oops. Okay, here we go.
Sorry.
Now she did a Google search. She showed you a Google search who's part of the PBM system. The very people who are complaining about the system are the ones who set they are the ones who have the people who set up these lists and how you have to get this. So the very people who
what
are
do you think the
complaining about,
FDA means?
right?
Federal
they're
Drug
the-
Association.
What's it? Formulary list and the
formulary. So, okay, so Medicare, there's Medicare and Medicaid. Medicare is federally funded program, right? So it's done by the federally funded. Medicaid is local, so that's state. Each one of those, Medicare and Medicaid, has a formulary list. They're the ones who state what we can and cannot put on the formulary. The federal government is what states what we can and cannot put on our formulary for Medicare on the formulary list. So if they have a problem and how much we should be able to charge them, that's reason why Biden started to drop the drug pricing, and that's reason why Trump started to drop, because they can't do that because it's Medicare. But however, they can do that based on Medicare insurances. They cannot just tell a manufacturing company to drop the price. But however, they have to go through somebody to initiate that drug pricing. And that's where PBMs come in. Why do you have title companies?
That's all the PBM is. All the PBM is a clearinghouse.
Right.
They don't. First of all,
title companies have their fees.
If your doctor prescribes something to you and you didn't go through the process to get to this next level, and the government says, well, we're not going to pay for this unless they go through this. The government set that, not the PBM. The PBM only follows the guidelines set forth by their contracts with the state and federal government. They have the contract, again, is with the federal government. And that's where my issue is. Both sides, I think it's one of the Republican ones you showed me, that heated me up, because I'm like, look, you're gaslighting the public because you're not. Here's the whole point. They're mad because CVS Caremark is one of the largest PBMs in the country, and they also own retail, and they feel bad about it. Now, my thing is, okay, CVS Caremark also they're self-insured, means they insure their employees. So that, and do they insure people outside of CVS, or is just CVS Caremark?
What do you mean by? Oh, you mean CVS Caremark, the PBM? Do they do any? Do they? I don't know. That I'm not quite sure about. They may only do Caremark and Molina.
Right, because CVS also has Minute Clinic. They have a lot of services available for the public. So they have urgent care centers and locations where the nearest urgent care center may not be within range. Now, the only thing about their urgent care is their store hours only. However, they have urgent care available for the public. So they're more than just a pharmacy. Not defending CVS, because CVS is kind of pricey on things. However, when I hear the government politicians say stuff, it's like, so you're talking to CVS when you need to go talk to the FDA and say, hey, what can we do to lower this? Get these. Let's look at the formulary list. No politicians ever asked to see the formulary list. They just get up there and gaslight the public.
Right. All they do is try to find the highest price of a certain drug and try to blame CVS Pharmacy for the markup. CVS Pharmacy did not mark up that drug price.
Remember the young man who bought the rights to a drug and raised the price?
Right. That's the thing. He did it. Right. He bought a right to a cheap
cancer drug.
It wasn't cancer. It was HIV.
HIV.
I think it was, and he bought it right, and it was. I guess it was cheap at the time. But then what he did, he marked it up 500%. Yeah. He did it, and so now, right? But still, I mean, that is what it is, and so it's not. And you got to the hands changing. Yes, let's just talk about it. Yes, when it's more than R&D, okay.
Right.
But yeah, we know we can't use that excuse all the time. That is R&D. research and development, but however, that is cost. I mean, you have to have the if you have a pharmacist on staff, a doctor on staff, you have to have you have to develop this medication. You have to go through trials. You have to go through these things, and those trials cost. I mean, sometimes it's a free trial. You have to go through all that. Yes, by the time the drug is being dispensed, yeah, you want some of that money reback, and there's a patent on them too. So that's another thing. They have a patent on them. So that's the reason why there's no generic for certain drugs at this point, because until the patent runs out. If you develop something and you put a patent on it, you expect whoever wants to use it, they will pay you the amount that you feel like you need to get it. It is what it is.
Just like something like this. We've always said this. You actually think it costs you $85,000 for a car?
$300,000 for a house?
You really believe that's what it costs?
And then you had to go, then you get your mortgage, but yeah, you had to go to a title company. And when we went to our first mortgage we had, they were charging us $1, $2 for some paper.
Right.
Oh, well, that's if we would have printing something out.
I'm surprised they didn't charge us for the ink.
They charged us for emails going back and forth, transmissions. They were charging for that.
And if you ever go to a lawyer, guess what they do?
They
charge you for you.
Right.
You say, call the lawyer. I got to ask him a question. Okay.
They charge.
Start the clock.
Yeah.
And when you get the bill, like, why is it so high? You ate up. Why? How did I eat my retainer up in 1 week? You called me every single day.
Right. Well, I mean,
sitting this way.
Look, it is what it is. If you hungry for that silver soup, then yeah, you're gonna they'll get the money out of it.
Because a car may only cost them $7,000 to make, but they're going to mark that car once it leaves there. It goes to, if we live in the area where we see them, that company gets the car. That's the transportation cost that goes on the sticker. So those people driving the car off the assembly line to the lot and putting like 200 or 300 miles on the car before you get it, which I don't like. That's why certain manufacturers I won't buy. They drive those cars hard. I've watched them. And they drive it to this lot. Then somebody else picks out the car, drives it to the next lot. Then here comes the truck to pick up the cars from the lot. That driver gets paid. Then it goes to the dealer. The dealer down marks it up. The dealer may have paid from the middleman, and it could be 2 or 3 middlemans before it gets to the dealer. By the time it gets to the dealer, the car is $20,000 or $30,000. So the dealer, of course, will say, "Well, I'm going to charge $70."
Base, right? They have a base rate, but then by the time they add all those little
transportation,
and then plus the little, we call them scat packs and all that stuff on there, accessories, right? And then they charge you for the accessories,
right?
You know, so yeah. But I want to also mention the fact of what this Booker was looking all mean about, trying to look all dominant. But however, he was talking about how he was saying life-threatening medication. There's no such thing as medication that you have to take that was life-threatening, that your life was threatening, that if you take this medication, you be healed. No, that's not nothing like that. There's no such thing as stuff like that. Yes, medication will help with the effects of the disease that you have, but there's nothing considered to be life-threatening. And if it was something that you would need right away, that means that there are times where you are able to get it. So if you go to the hospital, okay, and so what happens is you go to the hospital, you had a stroke. Now even just having a stroke, you have to be, if you go to the hospital and catch it in time, there's a window in order for the medication to even work, to help combat some of the things of the stroke.
Side effects.
The stroke itself. So yes, so that's even just just having a stroke is a window that you have to go to the hospital. So let's say you catch it in time. You're in the hospital. So when you're in the hospital, everything that is done in the hospital is under your medical plan. Now, of course, you go to a private insurance. Oh my God, private hospital. I recommend don't go. Oh Lord, help us. But anyway, so everything is you're under the insurance. So the insurance says, okay, you're in a hospital for this thing. We're going to pay the hospital $20,000, and everything that it falls under, including medications, including anything that they need, is going to fall underneath that. But what happens is sometimes what doctors do, they just take the med list that you were on. They'll write the prescriptions for it. They'll send you home with your prescription. Then that's where insurance companies now you have to build the actual prescription coverage, your prescription.
Right.
Now, yes, it's possible that you would need a prior authorization because now they were giving you whatever the hospital was giving you. But sometimes there are medications that they were giving the hospital will be transferred over. But that's one of the things you got to watch out for. And when you do a prior authorization, it doesn't take a long time unless the doctor didn't submit it in time or
like the CVS rep said, he says most of these situations are because the PA was not submitted in the proper amount of time. And so, they do have levels of PAs. If it's an emergency, they're not going to say, oh, a PA just came in for this guy. Oh, well, he's going to die in 15 minutes. Okay, we're going to drag our feet if he don't get it. No, if it's like that dangerous, the hospital's going to push the drug anyway and deal with it. So that's a lot. So, but when the hospital sends you home, that's where the problem's at. The hospital stabilizes you. Okay, here's your prescription, because the hospital's not going to go through the process to see if it's covered. They're just going to say, here's what you need.
The doctor would do is just take the whatever list and then even add on they'll even add on famotidine because sometimes some medication was cause stomach and discomfort and stuff like that, and you were taking it, and then because somebody mentioned, like I think he did that one time. He mentioned in the hospital that he was having some gas issues or stomach discomfort. And so they added famotidine, which is for acid reflux. That's what it was. And so, but it's like, and they were charging each time they were giving him that pill, they were charging him for that pill. And I'm like, wait a minute, he don't need that no more. Right. And so, but they kept adding that, because it's part of they just kept adding it on there. They kept taking it until then when he got released from the hospital, they just add that on to the prescription list. It didn't need that. Just give me what I need. I was here for. Just give me that.
We're running out of time. But anyway, we'll probably do a PBM part 2 because this is so deep. Because people, and you, like I said, to the people watching, now you may have to catch it on Cashmere if we do it because we'll probably go deeper into it. There's a lot of gaslighting, and you need to do your own due diligence, do your own homework, and start understanding your benefits. PBMs as she said before.
I mean, yes, there could be some things that could be changed. However, it's not a bad company. It's not a bad management. It's a benefit management, just like any other people who handle certain things.
It's important to know your benefits. So we're going to quickly fly through this. We flew through this. Many things. Actually, we don't really need that much time anyway for that. Discover and Capital One merger. So what's in your wallet? Both.
Yeah, I was telling my husband, I was online and I think Capital One bought Discover.
Yes.
So
Capital One Bank, which actually I'm a Capital One customer, full disclosure. Back to being with them, I actually like them. And recently I had the Walmart card, and then when Walmart had a falling out, and they converted my Walmart into another card. And they're actually a pretty good system. I know they have a branch in Detroit. If I need to go pay my bill, they got a Capital One Cafe. They have all these benefits for Capital One card holders.
And just speaking of which, you talking about the PBMs. I mean, you think these merchants, they charge you. They charge you every time. They charge the retailer every time you had to swipe that card.
We know about that very well.
Yeah, there's a fee for that because now they charge the retailer for them to use their merchant.
Is our fee? I think our fee is 1 point because we also, for our business side, we actually have a card reader, and we may do $10, but we only get like $9.76.
And why do you think?
So normally that's why most retailers say, most smaller businesses like we have, will turn around and say, well, we'll take your credit card, but based on the amount, we're going to have to charge you 5% or 5% more or 2%. Most people are nice.
This piece of joined by us, I think they charge. They do a flat rate about. I think it was like a $2 or $2 flat rate.
Yeah.
For using a credit card.
Yeah, why do you think gas stations have different prices for the gallon for credit card?
Right. Cash and for credit card.
Because they're covering their merchant fee. Now some gas stations, the owner will eat the fee because they have a strong retail So they will eat the fee and that pass it on. However, the reason why is because there are fees, and these fees are the highest fee that most everybody cringes on. Every merchant, I go to a restaurant. I'm sort of like a customer friend to the owner, and he said the number one card that they hit some hard is American Express. And I had that's the only card I had. I said, I know, because as somebody who has a merchant who has a credit card processing, works with one. In fact, even our podcast processor charges a fee.
Because
American Express has the highest processing
because
fees.
it's probably the system now. I can't think of the names of these I can't think of the names of them, but it's probably because they charging the merchant system that they're using a higher fee for using American Express, because American Express probably don't want to negotiate any lower pricing.
They don't want to
So to get the lower,
it's like a formulary list. American Express is like, nah. There's a middleman even in the credit card, where everything has a middleman.
Right.
The credit card, when you swipe your credit card, there's a middleman. Remember, the government sued Visa, was it about a few years ago? You notice that suit disappeared. There was a lawsuit against, I think, Visa, because all the banks used Visa.
Right.
And that lawsuit, this is how the government gaslights you. Notice how that lawsuit vanished? You don't hear about it? We don't even know what happened with it. So,
right.
Because Visa they have all of the banks.
I think it was it MasterCard?
No, it was Visa, because MasterCard
was in Visa.
No, MasterCharge is every card we have from every bank was always Visa.
Right. It was always Visa for every bank, correct.
Except for one, which is not, well, now they're a bank.
I think credit unions.
Credit unions float with MasterCharge,
right.
MasterCard. Some MasterCard. Well, we don't know what our credit unions has, because we decided not to get an account that we're doing something different with that. But anyway, it's just, that's one of the things we deal with is this merger. People are going to start now. Next, the government, I believe it has been approved. So this is one M&A that got approved. And so
they approved it. So now I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. Basically, the way it works, like, okay, so you know how sometimes retail cars, right? There used to be two that only handle retail cars. It was Synchrony and Commodity. Those were the two main. I don't know. I don't want to call them merchants. What do we call them, honey?
No, they handle retail
right. They were the two ones. If you wanted to know who handled your Synchrony, it was either Synchrony or Commodity. And then Commodity got bought out by Bread Financial. So, but yet there's still some communities. Basically what happens, they bought the debt.
Yeah, because my cards,
that's what happened.
Store cards are still committed.
Right.
Now, here's a good thing. People say, now, with the Discover Capital One merger, what does that mean? Well, if you live in the city of Detroit, you can go downtown. If you're a Discover card owner, you can finally walk into the Capital One Cafe, which I plan on going to because I'm a Capital One customer. Now, she can go in because she's a Discover customer. So we can now go visit the Capital One Cafe in Detroit. I wish.
So basically, right. So basically, Capital One bought the Discover's debt.
Yeah.
And so, and you wonder why some insurance, if you don't use your credit line, they start lowering it.
Because they're in trouble.
Not the fact they were in trouble, as opposed to since you're not using it, they can give it to somebody else who would.
Right.
I used to get emails saying, "Hey, you have this much money. Why don't you use it?" You know, I'm like, first of all, you tell us not to use it for our credit score, but now you're telling us, oh, you're not even trying to force you to use your credit limit, and so I guess if you don't use it, that's the reason why, because that way they can give it to somebody else who would.
Now, before we close out on this, because I know she said that, let me finish the cafe thing. Now, one thing about Capital One cafes, they have meeting rooms. So if you're a business owner, I haven't been in one, but they're great places to have meetings and all that. So, but yeah, like she said, credit limits. I can say I'm happy with Capital One. Discover loves her. So Capital One has been great. I'm a returner to Capital One. And I'm doing better. So one day we're going to talk about managing your credit. We got to get somebody who can tell you how, instead of us telling you.
I mean, I can tell you how to do it. I mean,
just
it is what it is, right? I mean, it is what it is. But So today, I'm glad we came live. I'm glad we're going to have to revisit Medicare versus Medicaid. What's the difference? Because I know your benefits. We had to revisit our PBMs because our time was running short, and prescription drug pricing and things like that. And today was casual because, as you can see here, I didn't wash my hair and I'm going natural today. So if you
do mine in a minute because we got to do this prayer guard and I gotta
tomorrow. If you were watching it tonight, and jump on into a prayer guard. You can't hear me, baby?
No, you're good. I have your pad down.
If you jump in and come on, we're on at 7 on Monday, and it's only Mondays now, 24 hours from Monday to Tuesday, 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. Tuesday. For now. So, and we're on at 7. So come and join us on our prayer guard.
Yes, and you'll be blessed. And then, as we always say, we also say, and to come to our Garrett's House podcast website, see our other things that we're doing.
Yeah.
Leave a tip. No, tips are great. I love tips. We're waiting for tips. And then remember, as I stated before, if you want to, let me get that graphic back up since we got a little time left here. For that's helping me with my health journey.
Yes.
AM Total Being Fitness. Click that QR code and go on ahead and get yourself in order. It's a great program. I enjoy it. Like I said, I've come a long way since September 2024. Has it been easy? No.
Also, before we go off, quickly about prescription drugs, you most likely you're not paying out of pocket anyway for full costs on drugs. You just have to pay your copay costs. So, and the whole thing about MS drug being $7,000-8,000 compared to some other country, at least you're not paying out of full total out of pocket. You just have to pay your own your copay for it. So if your copay is $25 for brand name, that's all you're paying. You don't have to worry about paying the $7,000 a month for this particular medication.
Look, we can go into how dental insurance, or really, it's really not. I don't think it was dental insurance.
It ain't insurance. That's just a discount.
We're gonna have fun on the Kashmir side because we're allowed to be a little more and dig deeper into that. Because when you're on social media platforms, they tend to shadow you because you're talking about topics. I'm hoping to help him get that fixed, because there's nothing wrong with sharing information with people, because sharing information is important. There's nothing wrong with calling politicians out. Notice, I said Democrats and Republicans both are on the wrong side of this. And I have no problems with saying
every company, come on, this is capitalism. Every company wants to make a profit.
I mean,
come on now.
I have a business. I'm trying to make a profit.
Right.
I just made a major investment in some new stuff for our business, and I'm like, look.
Content creators, you're out here. Those drop shipping companies, which now it's kind of bad, but anyway, y'all drop shipping. Y'all were charging $70 for something that only cost you $3 and everything else was overhead.
Don't get me started.
Never say underhead, brother.
Power supply for a laptop that never came, so I canceled it.
But anyway.
Yep. I am glad you came on. I'm Darnell.
And I'm Angela.
And we'd like to thank you for watching
Garrett's House.
See you next week.
Yes.
Enjoy your week. Prayer guard tomorrow.
6 p.m.
7 p.m. 6 p.m. it starts.
7 p.m.
7 p.m.